going to absolutely blow your minds away with the information that he's about to give to you. So ladies and gentlemen, please give him a warm round of applause. Do you want me to come to you? Or
Like
oh wow,
no,
this is
I'm
all technical.
Pre-planned.
Can I get one of those? I'm just getting the leaded microphone. Okay, thank you.
Hello. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Am I clear? Wonderful. Sorry, I can't do the microphone hand thing. It's not for me. First of all, she asked you to give me a warm welcome, and that was really... Okay, right. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Joseph. I appreciate it. So today I'm going to be covering off a few bits. Mainly, we're going to be talking about the importance of an effective website. What I'm not going to do for the next 70 minutes is talk at you. So you're going to have to get involved, I'm afraid. I'm going to be talking to you about your websites, how you feel, and where you feel there could be improvements. So as I go through each topic, I'm going to ask you to reflect on how you can implement that into your own businesses or businesses that you may be planning to have in the future. Does that make sense? Yeah. Do I have your permission? Yeah. Wonderful. I guess talking about myself, I come from a sales background. So all my working life, my job has been to convince people they want to buy something that they didn't originally plan to buy. Okay? Yeah, I'm your worst nightmare when you walked into a retail store. Yeah, I come from a retail background, and I've done nothing but work for large companies. And as I've gone through my career, I've seen a lot, I've experienced a lot. Similar to Mavis, had ups and downs. I'm not going to give you the detail because it's not relevant to this, but most importantly, I think I've learned about resilience. That's probably the most important thing I can give you, or nugget I can give you from my story, is resilience. The ability to bounce back from adversity, the ability to, when your chips are down, find that extra piece of resolve from nothing, and absolutely use it to push yourself forwards. And I'm sure most of you have had those days where you've woken up in the morning and you've not really wanted to go to work, or you've not wanted to get things done that day. And you felt down and you're out and you're just like, oh man, I can't be bothered, this is long. You have to keep going. You have to keep going, and a lot of other speakers talk about having a why. I'm sure you've heard that before. You need to have a why. Mine is my 2 children, my 2 daughters. That's my why. So those days when I wake up and I can't be bothered to do this anymore, things aren't looking good, the bank account isn't as healthy as it should be, that's my why. I have to keep going no matter what. So I guess my biggest piece of advice before I properly begin is find your why for yourself and find your why for your customers, because all of you are looking to serve a customer. Okay? You're looking to serve a customer. Why should your customer come to you, or why should your customer buy from you? So I'm going to play a video now, and I want you to think about this video, think about the message that it's portraying, and how you can implement this in your own business, okay? So your website potentially is the first impression someone has of your business. It's your opportunity to showcase yourself. This is what we're about. This is my brand. This is who we are. This is what we're selling. This is what we're going to give to you. This is how. So a website being effective is possibly one of the most important parts of your business strategy. Now, what I'm going to do today is give you guys some education around some different elements of websites. It will be slightly technical, but I promise I'll try and make it as simple as possible for you. But it's important you understand these things. So when someone says, oh, I'm just building my website, I'm just throwing my website together, if you haven't considered these things, it's not going to be as impactful or as effective as it possibly could be. One piece of advice: do not skimp when it comes to your website, okay? I understand that guy said he's going to do the website for £50 and it sounds fantastic, but trust me, if there's one part of your business you're going to want to invest in, it's the part of the business that doesn't require you to talk to the customer to sell. Your website's the only part of your business that can make sales for you whilst you're sleeping. Therefore, it's the part of the business you need to invest in most. Not your company car, not that flash new Audi, you know, not those flash new business cards. Your website is going to be the thing that ultimately sells you when you're not in the room. Your website is going to be the thing that sells you to people halfway across the world who can't have that face-to-face interaction with you. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. So the first thing you need to consider, and if you haven't considered this, you need to consider your customer segmentation, okay? Who is your customer? Who are you trying to attract? Who do you want to buy from you? You pick your customer before they pick you. I want to sell to everybody. You're lying. You can't sell to everybody. You have to have a segment, something that, a particular part of the market that you're going after. This is how you look at it. What age of people am I trying to go for? What sex? Where do they need to be? If I'm selling dance floors, for example, and I'm based in the UK, can I proactively provide a service to someone who's based in South Florida? Probably not. Why? Because my pricing is going to have to include a whole load of logistics and flights and accommodation and things that a customer can get locally for significantly cheaper. It's not going to work, right? Right, okay, so therefore I'm going to apply to people who are where I am. Yes? Cool, so that's my location. Socio-economic factors. What's a massive socio-economic factor that's impacting everybody at the moment? Brexit, it's like a swear word. Yeah? Brexit is genuinely impacting people, and you have to consider this when you're talking about selling. How is Brexit impacting my customer? It might not have any impact at all. But if your customer is potentially going to be buying a house at the moment or doing any kind of major transaction, Brexit is a massive worry. Because they're going to be doing what with their money? Doing what? They're going to keep their money. They're not going to be spending as freely as they were before. Which is why in the news, when you look, everybody's talking about everything's down. Companies are moving out. People aren't spending. People aren't getting credit as much. Because people are not spending as freely as they were, say, 3, 4, 5 years ago. So when you're putting your pricing together, you've got to think, wow, actually, do you know what? Maybe I'm not going to be able to make that 50% margin I was making 5 years ago. Maybe I need to ride the wave short term. Maybe I need to go down to 15 and 20% because that's going to keep me competitive in this marketplace. And that's what my competitors are doing. Yeah? Lifestyle. It's a big one. So I'm not talking about the lifestyle that's portrayed on Instagram. I'm not talking about the lifestyle that's portrayed on Facebook. I'm talking about the real lifestyle of the individual. So what is that person doing when the camera goes off? What's the lifestyle of the person that I want to attract to my business? Is that person wealthy? Yeah, so you might genuinely have a business that only caters for people who are genuinely wealthy. So how can I make myself attractive to a wealthy person? Mavis before me, she goes for small businesses. Yeah? Small businesses. She said loans from £1,000 to £100,000. There are big corporates who would not sniff at £100,000. That's pocket change. Yeah, but that's her choice to go for people who are going for loans of that size. Entry-level businesses. There are other people that do what she does who go for businesses that want nothing less than $1 million, 10 million, 20 million. So think about the lifestyle the individual are trying to attract. Does that make sense? Digital marketing. Palamfat, this was you, by the way. This slide was you. Palamfat called me yesterday and she said, Rory, tomorrow you're going to be doing this talk, and there's this thing, someone was talking to me about this SEO thing, and I have no idea what he was talking about. Can you make sure you talk about it tomorrow? So this is all about you, okay? So categories of digital marketing. So these are all the ways in which you can market yourself, okay? You're going to get a social media masterclass later on, so I'm not going to touch on that, but just so you understand the different parts of digital marketing, okay? So you've got search engine optimization and search engine marketing, content marketing, social media marketing, pay-per-click advertising, affiliate marketing, and email marketing. And all of these things are to ask a customer to go and do what? By going where? Can't hear you. To your website. All of these activities are to drive these individuals to your website. So you understand the activity that has to sit behind your website. You can't just build a website and just, okay, I built it, now I'm done. No, you're just beginning your journey. And these are all the things that you're going to have to look at to be able to drive that traffic to your website. Now, some of you may be looking at some of this and thinking, what on earth is he talking about? So I've been nice and given you definitions. Yeah, I'm nice. So SEO, search engine optimization, is the process of optimizing your online content so that an engine likes it to show up as a top result for searches of a certain keyword. When you type in news, UK, what's going to come up at the top? What's that? Okay, if you type in chicken shop, what's going to come up first? KFC. Why? Have you guys been looking for chicken shops? Okay, how do you know that? So you're like, yeah, KFC. Okay, yeah. And that's the basis of it, okay? In the same way that Google Maps works, so Google Maps is a car, I don't know if you've ever seen it. A car goes around taking pictures of all the houses. So when you go on Google Maps, you can see, oh, that's my car on my driveway on Google Maps, right? They have the similar thing for the internet. There's these things called bots, and they go all over the internet to every single website, looking what's going on, what links, what pictures, what's here, what's not here. And that's how they rank the websites on Google. Yeah, that's how it works. So that's why your website may come top or may come second page, or God forbid, 10th page, if anybody ever goes there. That's how your website's ranked. Now, this is a free way of doing it. Okay, so SEO does not cost money. It's basically ranking your website based on its content. You with me? Okay? So, for example, every time you put a picture on your website, when the bots go to your website, the bots do not see the physical picture. They see something called alternative text, which sits behind the picture. Yeah? The alternative text, if it says something like picture 1 or picture 2, you need to get a new website guy. Okay? So the alternative text needs to relate to the content of your site. So if you run a travel company, so every single picture on your website will have to relate or should relate to the destination for which it's talking about. So if someone types in China holidays, you have a better chance of coming further up the list. Because it's going to say, oh, she's got loads of pictures about China holidays. It must be relevant to this content. You with me? I need to censor check. I'm sorry. I need to just check. I don't want to lose you. Yeah? So that's SEO. The other main form of advertising you'll do for your website is PPC, pay per click. So this is kind of the shortcut way of doing it. If you have money, but you can't be bothered to wait for the bots to come and find your site. You'll say, Mr. Google, do you know what? I'm going to pay you this much to be on page number 1. And every time someone clicks on my website, I'm going to pay you 50 pence. Please make sure you have the money to pay them if you want to do this type of advertising, because if you get 10,000 hits, that's a very large bill. Yeah? That credit and that cash flow that Mavis was talking about, you need to have that. Yeah, but PPC is usually what large companies do, because they can afford to pay for it. Yeah, so they'll make sure that their pages dominate certain keywords. Every single time, they'll be number 1 at the top every time. And every time you click, they're getting a bill from Google. That's how Google makes so much money. Every single click you do is someone's getting paid somewhere. You don't see it, you're just browsing around, but you may have just cost the BBC a whole £10 by being click happy. Yeah? So that's PPC. I'm not going to go through the rest, but it's up there if you want to capture the notes. Do you want to move on, or do you want to capture the notes? What's that? What you say? Okay. You sure? You sure you're sure? All right, cool. Okay, no worries. So those are the two main things you need to consider. Yeah, so when you approach a website guy, talk to them about SEO and PPC. Those are the two main things you need to worry about. Steps to website effectiveness. Number 1, purpose. Believe it or not, you need to define the purpose of your website. Why are you here? What are you trying to do? A lot of people have a website that has a million different things going on, it's not clear, etc., etc. When you guys are on the internet, how long do you spend on a website before you say, oh, no, this isn't what I was looking for, and you move on? How long? 2 seconds. You're harsh. 2 seconds. How long? A few seconds. Okay? How long do you spend? You give a whole minute.
It depends what it is.
Okay. Dean, how long do you give? 5. Damn, we're harsh in this room, okay? Okay. Annette, how much do you give?
I don't know, about a minute or 2?
You give a whole 2 minutes?
I do it with purpose.
You do it with purpose? Okay, cool, no worries. So as you can see, you've got a very short space of time to capture that person's imagination. You haven't got long. On average, you've got 30 seconds. On average, you've got 30 seconds to capture that person's imagination, or they'll just move to the next result. So what is your purpose? Make sure it is clear. The customer lands here and says, I am trying to sell you a holiday. I have good deals, click here to buy. Okay, I understand. That is a clear purpose. I want to book Gloria. I'm looking for a good speaker. Oh, look, she looks amazing. I want to book her. Yeah, your purpose has to be clear. Communication. What message are you trying to communicate to your customer? In that video, what message was that initial advert trying to communicate? Do you remember the advert she saw before she went to the horrible coffee shop? It was a hot, cheesy sandwich, and it was cheap, and it looked good, and it was steamy. Yeah? That's what attracted her. That's why she went. This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a hot, steamy sandwich. We see marketing messages. Oh, no, sorry. It's not my sandwich. She looked disgusted by the sandwich. You know, we see marketing messages around us all the time. We're being sold to all the time. And the reason why you go to click on that website or not is based on whether or not it's something that appeals to you. I was watching Dragon's Den a few weeks back, and there was this company that went on that were doing, they do like gas and gas switching. So if you've got a gas provider or electricity provider, they find the best deal, and they constantly switch you from provider to provider every year without you having to do anything. And I was like, oh. And I was interested because my contract was up with British Gas, and they were trying to put on my bill by £500. So that appealed to me. To other people, they were like, boring, what has this got to do with it? I live in the real world, I have to pay bills, right? So what did I go and do? What did I do? I went to their website. And guess what happened when I went to their website? I didn't buy the product. No, it didn't work. I went to the website, and it said something along the lines of, your mobile device has been picked up as fraud. Please give us a phone call to sign up. Okay, I'm just going to go back to U-Switch because they just work. U-Switch works, yeah? So they had an opportunity for my business, and because of some probably issue they didn't know about, or because of some issue or problem or whatever, I didn't buy. 30 seconds, customer, gone. I could have been a customer for life. And that's how volatile this customer relationship is. It can take 30 seconds to win or lose a customer. And that's why I'm saying you have to put that investment into your website. Look at it every single day through the eyes of your customer. When I give business advice to people, and I sit down and they say, yeah, you got a website? Yeah, I got a website. You like it? Yeah, it's nice. Okay? Let's sit down and go through your website page by page in the eyes of the customer. And when you build websites and templates, all the original templates are in Latin. So there's whole chunks of text in Latin which shows me you have never looked at this page. You couldn't have. You've never looked at your own website that you're selling to me. And I say, okay, I'm the customer, I want to buy from you. Take me through the journey. He's like, okay, yeah, you click here. Okay, now where do I go? I want to buy. I'm trying to buy from you. I want to buy. I don't care. I want to buy. Okay, click here. Then to this page, and then to this page. We're 6 pages in, and I'm still not able to buy from you. I'm bored. I don't want to buy from you anymore. This is too hard. Your communication has to make it so easy for the person to actually buy from you. You have to make it easy. They say I should be able to purchase from you with no more than 3 clicks. No more than 3 clicks. Any more than that, I'm going to start getting bored. So your communication has to be so clear and effective, powerful, to the point, no waffle. Accurately portray what you're trying to portray. Typefaces, that's fonts. Be very careful about the fonts that you use. I'll show you an example. Which one of those would you have on your website? Why? How many of you have got websites here? How many of you have genuinely sat down and made an actual conscious business decision about the font that you use on your website? Not as many hands. And that's the point I'm trying to make. I'm not saying you're bad, by the way, if you haven't, okay? Don't shoot me. I'm not saying you're bad. What I'm saying is, what's that? What's that? Yeah. The point is, these are the things that you need to consider. They're small things, but they're impactful things. Because on a mobile device, that's going to look very, very different. A lot of people wear glasses. If they can't read your website, they're like, what? Okay, we've got time for this. My mum only looks at websites she can read. That's how she is. She can't be bothered to go and find her glasses. She just wants to be able to read it. So it has to be bold, it has to be clear. It's a big one. If your website is full of red colors, how will it make the customer feel? Hungry, because they're thinking about the KFC you was talking about earlier. Okay. Yep. Angry, potentially. If the colors you chose were pink, how would it make the customer feel? It would make the customer feel girly, okay. If the colors you chose were purple or blue, relaxed, okay. If you chose nothing but black and white, how would you feel? Bored. The truth is, there isn't any right or wrong about color choice. So that's a trick question, sorry. Yeah, there's no right or wrong. It's not what colors you use, it's how you use them. It's how you use them. If you have a black and white website, my assumption is you're selling something quite simplistic. Black and white is simple. Straight to the point. It's clear, it's concise. Depending on the industry that you're in, you will need to use various colors. If you work in travel, so I'm just using it as an example. If you work in travel, I'll keep on going, yeah. If you work in travel, you can't be black and white. Why? Because travel is fun, it's an emotion, it's quite an emotive thing. So you're gonna have to use bright yellows, oranges, blues, pictures of sea, sun, sand. That's how you sell travel. You're selling the feeling. If it was black and white, you're selling holidays to Cornwall. Yeah, effectively, that's the only place you could sell holidays to because it's dark and it's rainy. Yeah, so it's how you use colors. Now, your entire website needs to be on brand. You need to have a plan for your brand, okay? So if your business card is blue, then your website needs to kind of reflect what your business card says. And then when we go to your social media, it kind of needs to reflect what your website said. And every other part of business collateral needs to reflect the same message. It needs to be consistent. Colors are important. Images. I've seen some scary websites where the image choices are scary. They're clearly not thought out and they're not relevant to the product. Yeah? Your image choices need to be deliberate. Your image choices need to really show what you do. Remember, you've got how long? How long have you got? You've got 30 seconds. So what do the images need to be? They need to be specific. What else? Clear. They need to tell a story. You've got half a minute, guys. You've got 30 seconds. So those images need to very, very quickly show examples of your work, show what you do, how you do it. Think about your menus. If you have like a menu and a sub-menu and a sub-menu and a sub-menu and a sub-menu, that's way too complicated. Oh, but I wanted to go back to that page I saw two clicks ago. I don't even know, I'm lost. Think about your menus, how you set your website out, the structure. Did you have to do a website plan? Your guy was the cheap £50 guy, innit? No, I'm joking. He's like, yeah. We did it via WhatsApp. No, so you did a website plan, Gloria. So you had to plan each individual page, hopefully. Like a sketch? Yes. Yeah, so before they start coding anything, you should have a website plan which effectively, page by page, says this is how I want it to look and feel, and this is where I want to navigate to here, and this is what I want my menus to look like, and this is what I'm specifically going to have. You need to have a website plan. It's almost like a business plan, but specifically for your website. This is what I want to do, this is how I'm going to do it. Make sense? You with me? You see, the yeses are starting to die down. Are you with me? Oh, okay, right. Grid-based layouts. So sometimes when you build a website, the layouts are very random. You've got information here, 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 here. It's very, very noisy and confusing. So grid-based layouts is all about structure. You need to have a structure of your specific pages. So if you are building your website yourself, WordPress is really, really good for this. There's a lot of really, really good templates that can help you and support you with having grid-based layouts. But you need to consider the information needs to be aligned. It needs to make sense. Similar to when you put a piece of writing together, it needs to make sense. It needs to be formatted correctly. So you can't have a line of pictures and one picture's here, the other picture's kind of to the right a little bit. It just looks messy. And what will it portray about your brand if it is like that? Bear in mind, every single thing that the website does to a customer portrays something about you. Not the website builder, about you. F pattern design. Who knows what that is? Good. That means I've got a purpose here today. Wonderful. So F pattern design is effectively the psychology behind how someone views a page. This is where you're getting your money's worth now, by the way, yeah? So F pattern design, when someone looks at a web page, do you know where on the page you typically look at first? You reckon top in the middle? Okay. You reckon? If I had money to give you, I'd give it to you, but sorry. You want go-karting, so I'm not giving you no more money. But top left. Your eyes will naturally gravitate towards the top left. So where do you think your most important and impactful things need to be? In the top left. The bottom right is the most neglected place on the web page. I'll show you. We like to read from left to right like we're reading a book. And we go from top to bottom. How many of you ever considered this when you're building your websites? Re-look at your websites. Just move things around. It doesn't mean you have to completely rebuild the whole thing, but just be conscious of where you're putting the information you want people to kind of do first. Because ultimately, when someone's on your website, you need them to take action. I'm in your social media page, I need you to take an action. I need you to click, or I need you to call, or I need you to email, or I need you to fill in form, or I need you to make payment, or whatever the action is, but you need the customer to take some sort of an action. So my advice would be to make sure that action is clear as to what you need them to do in that top left-hand part of the page. Does that make sense? Yeah? This is about marketing. So your website is inbound marketing. Okay? So you've got these four kind of pillars of inbound marketing. You've got brand, you've got authority, you've got community, and you've got conversion. So even if we're 100% effective without any one of the other elements, the overall marketing strategy isn't as effective. So you have to ensure each dependency is effectively implemented and it provides the company with immense marketing reach, potential, and performance. So you need to consider your brand. Mavis showed you the McDonald's sign. That's a powerful brand. There's loads of powerful brands. Your authority. Who are you to tell me you sell good holidays? Where can we get authority from? Testimonials? Yep. Who else? Publications? Where else could we get authority from? What's the most powerful form of advertising? Word of mouth. So if someone tells me you're good, you now have authority to be good because someone else said you was good. You need to build authority. However you get it, you need to get authority. That's why people want to be in magazines. They want to be in publications on LinkedIn. They want to be on other people's websites. So imagine if I go onto a website and, for example, they're selling, you sell candy floss machines, you rent them out, and I go on, right, I'm looking for a candy floss machine, and I go into a website that only deals with equipment to rent, and it says, our featured company of the month is Bring It to Life Events. Well, if this website says they're the featured event, I'm going to buy from them. I don't know why, but I'm just going to click on it anyway because I'm the customer, and that's what we do. How many of you have made a buying decision based on that concept of authority? The truth is you all have deep down. You probably didn't know, but that's what you was doing. Yeah? So, for example, if you're purchasing a car, which brands would you say have a lot of authority? If I said the car was an Audi or a BMW or a Mercedes, how much authority does those brands have? So if I tell you the car is good, are you going to ask me many more questions? It's an Audi, right? It's a BMW. It must be good. I believe in the brand. The brand has authority. If I said it was going to be a Skoda, okay. Do you know, when I was thinking about that, I said, this could be so risky if someone has a Skoda in the room. Oh, my God. Are you? Thank God. Okay, cool. Right, okay. Any Skoda owners in the room? Cool. All right, I can continue. Right. So, if I told you I was giving you a Skoda for free, how would you feel? I know, Joseph. I know you would. I know you would. I know. I know. I know. He said he'll bless someone else with the Skoda. The point is, because Skoda is a brand, actually has not much brand authority. But the product in terms of quality is the same as Volkswagen. It's the same product with a different badge. But because of how powerful brand authority is, you will turn your nose up at a Skoda and you would like, what, a Golf? Yeah, give me that. And Joseph would give the Skoda away for free, but it's the same value of product. Yeah, of course, okay, yeah. But that is how powerful brand authority is. So really think about that. How powerful is my brand? How much authority do I have? Community. I'm going to go into community in a bit more detail afterwards, so I won't cover that now, but conversion as well. Conversion is what? Yes, it's what? Potentially. Inquiry to sale. Conversion is effectively how many people took the action you wanted them to take at that moment in time. So if, for example, your action was, on this page, I want people to fill in a booking form. And when you look at your stats, it says 1,000 people visited your site, 5 people filled in the form. How's your conversion looking? Joseph's like, low. Yeah, it's not looking too hot. Of course, of those 5 people, you then have another measure of conversion. Okay, so those 5 people are now leads. Of my 5 leads, how many bought from me? What you need to look at is for those who buy, great. You need to be as interested in those who don't buy as you are in those who do buy. Not the country, those who actually buy from you. Why do you need to be interested in people who don't buy?
Because then you can understand what you need to get
100%. You need to understand your customer. Bear in mind, I've come to your webpage. I filled in the form, box ticked. You've got my interest. You've given me a quote, or you've given me some sort of information I needed to make a buying decision, and I've decided not to buy from you. I may have decided not to buy at all because I didn't know dance floors were £5,000, so this is not for me. Or I may have decided to go with someone else because maybe they had better brand authority. Maybe I wanted the Volkswagen, not the Skoda. Maybe they were cheaper. There's many different reasons why people don't buy. Maybe I inquired and I told someone that I inquired and they said, you inquired with Bring It to Life events. No. No, yeah. Yeah? Maybe they said that. And he was like, oh, okay, cool, no worries. No, I'm not, yeah. You need to take an interest and have a mechanism to follow up with people who don't buy to find out why. And that's what conversion's all about. You want to be measuring your conversion and it needs to be increasing. Month on month, your conversion needs to be going up. So community. Curating and growing an audience into a thriving community requires a unique content strategy, a lot of attention, and a talented team. Once you've got a community, you've got an army of marketers. Why have you got an army of marketers if you've got a community? They're going to talk about you. You have a community, they talk about you. The EVN is just one type of community where we talk about each other. But you can have your own sub-communities. On Twitter, what are people doing all the time? Talking. Now, you could put things out there that aren't even necessarily related to what you do, but if they're talking about your brand, that is a form of marketing. People need to be talking about you. You have to create a community of fans. How can you do that? Say, for example, if someone's already bought from you, how could you turn them into a fan? Reward them? Yeah, you could. How else? How can you turn someone into a fan of your business when they've bought? What could you do? Delivering more than what you expected, yeah? What else? You think about businesses that you're a personal fan of. Why are you a fan of that business? They make you feel special. How?
Maybe by putting you as an elite customer base. So, for example, if you go to a website and you purchase items from their platform, they might then say, we're going to give you points, or you are now a privileged customer, so you feel quite special.
Yeah, they make you feel special. The quality of the service, yeah? What if you message the customer after they've already bought from you and said happy birthday? As an example. Or if you're in the weddings industry, every single year you have an automated email that wishes them a happy wedding anniversary. Now I know this can be contentious if they, so maybe not that one, but birthdays are pretty much guaranteed. Yeah? But you get my point. Yeah, I'm treading on. Rory told me to do that, I didn't know they got divorced. No. Yeah, if you wish your customer, these are things that don't cost money. You set yourself up from the beginning to be structured with it, because you're going to have to be to track it. But you know what? I'm going to send an email to that customer say happy birthday. Or I'm going to send out season's greetings at Christmas. But I'm going to keep on talking to them even after they've bought. Because even I'm not actually selling something to them, they're going to remember me. And when somebody asks them in that random work conversation, the tea room, somewhere random, and they say, do you know what, I'm getting married next week. Do you know what? 5 years ago, I used this company for my dance floor. Yeah, I got an email from them the other day. 1 second, I'll dig up their details. It literally can be that simple. So that's why it's important to create a community. It's not that your community necessarily keeps talking to each other all the time. It's not going to be like that. It depends on your sector. But there are ways to keep touching base with your customer even after they've purchased so they still remain part of your community. Are you with me? Does that make sense? So I said community, and then you have audience. So we defined what a community is. An audience is comprised of people who consume your content, they may even buy your products, but with little interaction with you. These people are commonly known as lurkers because they come to your website for goods but do not take a community action like commenting on your blog post or following up with you on social media. Your audience is often reflected in your page views. They can account for a large portion of your traffic. While you're able to easily track your traffic analytics, I'll come on to that after, it's hard to determine if those page views are coming from your ideal client with just audience building techniques. This is one instance where having a community can be extremely beneficial. So what it's saying is, when you look at your stats, for example, if you put an Instagram post out on your business page, you can see how many people viewed the post. Okay, so 5,000 people viewed it, and I got 23 likes. The 23 likes are probably from someone in my community. That means I've got 4,000 plus people in my audience that I need to bring into my community. So if the amount of people viewing your content and the amount of people interacting with it, there's a massive gap, you need to be consistently working to close that gap. I don't want an audience, I want a community. Does that make sense? And it doesn't matter what sector you're in, there's ways of doing it. Your website, of course, is a massive tool for this, but this links in so closely with social media, it's impossible for me not to talk about it. But you need to think about all the ways that I'm reaching out to people. How am I building a community? You know, is the only thing I talk about the fact that I'm selling a product? Because if the only thing you ever talk about when you're pushing outbound marketing messages, the fact I'm selling something, I'm selling something, I'm selling something, I'm selling something, it gets boring. Hey, I'm not selling something, but look what my last customer said about me. Look, view the video. I'm not directly selling you something, but subtly I am. Not every marketing message has to be a sale. But you're trying to build a community because that person, that video, for example, how many people thought, you know what, I'd love to go to that coffee shop? Yeah. Yeah, for the free muffins. I want to go. And that's literally how it goes. That's literally how it goes. When the person talks about a business, says, you know what, I went to this coffee shop, the guy was so nice, he gave free muffins, and they got free Wi-Fi. You know, people love free Wi-Fi. Yeah, and they got free Wi-Fi. Yeah, I'm going to go there. Because it's as simple as that. Look how you're smiling thinking about the free Wi-Fi. Yeah? It's as simple as that. It's effectively just another snapshot if you want to take a picture. So definition of community. So which one would you rather have? I can't hear you. That's poor. My God, did you guys just send them home, man? So conversion. How many of you heard of Google Analytics before? All right, who hasn't heard of it before? So Google Analytics is effectively, it's a tool that anyone with a website should be using. Anyone with a website should be using to track the traffic that comes to your website. If you're not using this, get it tomorrow. It's free. Yeah, so Google Analytics basically allows you to track your audience versus community versus on your web page. How many people visited? When did they visit? What device did they use to visit? Where in the world were they located? How long were they on my pages? What pages did they visit? What did they click on? How long they spent on looking at something? If your website is a blog post and the blog post should take roughly 5 minutes to read, and every customer or person in the audience that comes to look at your page, their average viewing time of the page is 30 seconds, what does that tell you? What does it tell you? It's not good. But what Google Analytics allows you to do is take action. Okay, so what it means is that they're only staying for 30 seconds. That initial intro is not engaging them. I need to try something different. So Google Analytics is a very key way of measuring conversion because it tells you when someone clicks that buy button or that submission of the form, etc. It's a little bit technical, so you will need to get someone professional to do it. But once you have it, you can log in and it's very easy to view the data and it's very, very useful. How many of you are going to get Google Analytics now? Okay, this is not good. Okay, cool. What's that? Yeah, I don't believe that, Joseph, but I know it is. Thanks, Joseph. I like it. Okay, online sales versus offline sales. So how many of you do online sales? How many of you do offline sales? Offline sales is effectively where a customer cannot buy the product then and there on the website without having to have some sort of a conversation with you first. What you want to try and do is get as much of your business to online sales as possible. Why is that? Easy conversion? Why else? It's a short process. And that's why I say as much as possible. There may be some part of your product portfolio that says, I have to have a conversation with this person first. But you might say, do you know what, this person, okay, I might need to have a conversation, but do you know what, could I convert that customer before that conversation? Is it possible? Is it possible for me to actually convert that person before that conversation? And actually, that conversation is just part of the sales process. But I'm taking your money up front. So if, for example, I'm a wedding planner, I know that, for example, my wedding fee, if I set up my pricing structure, I know that it's exactly relative to the person's budget or the size of the wedding. I'm charging a portion of the budget. It's not necessarily related to what they get. It's related to what their budget is. So I can set my pricing structure to say to the customer, Mr. Customer, please type in what your budget is. Okay, here is your quote for my services. There's no need for negotiation. That's my fee. Do you want to go ahead, yes or no? Please note, as part of the process, once you've made payment, one of the team will be in touch to discuss your requirements in more detail. For example, when that conversation happens, I've already got your money. Now, what you're probably going to have to do is give a customer reassurance to say, after making your payment, we have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you're not happy after a consultation, I'm happy to give a 100% refund. What does that give the customer? Reassurance. It gives them what else? It gives them what? Instruction? A structure? What else could it give them? Confidence. If this person's telling me they're going to give me all my money back, they're that confident in them, yeah, I'm buying. How many of you bought something because it had a refund policy versus when it didn't? Yeah, you've done it. We've all done it. Yeah, I bought things because, oh, okay. And how many times did you actually bother to get that refund? Rarely. So yeah, fair enough. You might have some people that buy that, get that refund, but actually on the whole, your overall conversion is going to be much, much higher. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Just to have a consultation. Yeah. So that way they're already committing something. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because once they've committed payment, once they have committed a payment, it could be £1, it could be £10, whatever it is. Once they've committed payment, they're committed to you. And now I have to have that conversation with that customer. And this is where you come into your own now, because now I'm going to have that conversation. It's my opportunity to sell to someone who's kind of already bought from me. I just need to seal the deal. So that's why online sales are so much more powerful than offline sales. Amazon. Why are Amazon so successful? Swift process. They make it ridiculously easy to buy from them. How many of you have had the thought, I need XYZ product? gone on Amazon, literally typed in the search term you've picked on the one that was recommended, it was in your budget, click, add to basket, buy. Your card details already saved, you don't need to find your card, buy now. 30 seconds later, you've already purchased from them. How many of you have done that? Sometimes I do that and I thought, hold on a second. I didn't even want that laminator this morning. I'm £50 down, that doesn't even make sense. Yeah? Because they're so good at making it so ridiculously easy to buy from them. I'll tell you another thing about Amazon that I really, really love that's really related to websites. What Amazon did, and it was a program I was watching this morning, what Amazon did at the beginning, Amazon didn't actually used to be profitable. All they did was reinvest their profits back into their business. They reinvested into product, they reinvested into themselves, into making the website better and better and better and better and better. So I urge you to reinvest in yourselves. When you make that little £100, don't just go and, that's £100 more of marketing you can purchase. That's £100 more of something you can reinvest into your business. Because one thing Jeff Bezos did really, really well is refuse to give any money back to shareholders for about 7 years. 7 years. People who put money down, hundreds of thousands of investment, did not get a penny back for over 7 years. Because he refused to do anything other than reinvest back into the business. Every single penny. And now he's the richest man in the world. You have to reinvest into your business. You have to. If it's £10 here and there of marketing, £30, £50, £100, whatever you can invest into your business, do it. But do it wisely. Don't invest in some fancy business cards if your website looks rubbish. Yeah? What's going to be more impactful, that business card or that website? The website. Your business card can only reach as many people as you physically talk to. Your social media can reach the world. Does that make sense? You with me? The actual official definition of analytics is the discovery, interpretation, and communication of meaningful patterns in data. So every time you guys go on a website, your data is being recorded, whether you like it or not. They want to know where you came from, they want to know where you're going to, they will probably know how old you are, what device you're using, what operating system you're using, everything. And all of their business decisions is made by aggregating all of this data together to get a picture of their customer. And this is effectively what you need to do. Build up a picture of your customer. Now, if analytics is telling you that everyone who visits your webpage is 45 and over, and you said from the beginning, remember when we spoke about identifying our market segment? And we said that we want to appeal to under 18s. Okay, something's not adding up here. Yeah? I'm reaching the wrong section. I've got to now relook at my advertising. The power of analytics. That's it. Any questions on anything I've spoken about? Say again? Of what?
So basically, we can ask Rory questions, so we've got about 10 minutes or so.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you said, I was out of time. Oh, sorry, I'm gone. No questions. Any questions on anything I've spoken about? You sure?
I have a question. So my question is that obviously we are now in the whole revolution of Instagram, and many people tend to go onto Instagram to look at the stuff that you do and your ideas and everything.
Yeah.
So do you think therefore that a website is still needed?
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. So when you have a business page on Instagram, what does it ask you to create? A what, sorry? A what? A profile. And on your profile, what would it have? So when someone goes onto it, can someone directly buy your product from Instagram? They cannot directly buy your product from Instagram. So Instagram is fantastic for capturing that community. And you're building your community on Instagram, and you're building it, you're putting out content that makes people interested, and yeah, oh, that's a funny video. Oh, from that page, I'll follow them. Don't know what they do, but I like them. Gonna follow them. And then all of a sudden, you advertise something at them. And then you're like, whoa, this is good, I wanna buy. Where do I go? I have to take an action. I'm gonna need to call, I'm gonna need to email, I'm gonna need to go to a web page, I'm gonna need to do something, but me as a customer, I'm going to have to take action. So Instagram is a facilitator of action. So the reason why I say the website's still important is because actually the website is that action, potentially. It could be sending an email, but what's the danger of asking a customer to email you? They might not. I might not have time to send and construct an email to you, type in your email address, flip back and forth between web pages because I don't know it off by heart. Then I've got to construct a message. Then I've got to put in all my details, and suddenly we have all of these variables that are just going to potentially be blockers to the person buying my product. Whereas actually, if I had minimal clicks and it said, click here to buy, cool. Click here, buy now, put in your card details, all right, no worries. And for people who sell online, what makes buying with your cards even now more accessible and easy? What technology? Apple Pay, Samsung Pay. Now you don't even need your wallet. Literally, your wallet's already on your phone, preloaded. JD Sports, for example. If you've ever shopped on JD Sports online, on your phone, you don't need your wallet. It taps into Apple Pay, so you don't even need to do that. And you guys can put that on your websites. It's not as expensive as you would think. But these are just other ways in which you can encourage people to buy and actually remove those barriers to someone going from thought to the action of purchasing. Especially if you have static pricing. If your pricing doesn't move and your product doesn't ever change and it's pretty structured, that's the best portfolio to have. And if you don't have that, try and see how I can move to a more structured pricing regime, because it's going to make it much easier for me to package it up and put it in a kind of a buy now. When you go on eBay, for example, the products that are most successful are the ones that have buy now pricing. Because I, as a consumer, I have control over what I'm spending now. I just want to buy now. I just make it simple for me. I don't want to have to wait 24 hours to see what happens to the auction, but I don't have time. I just want to buy now at this price. Sorry, in answer to your question. Does that make sense? Yeah? Yeah? Mm. Thank you. Was there something else you wanted to say? I know you said there's two things. Cool. Was there any other question? Sorry.
You mentioned about the content needing to be on the website, but when you're first starting and obviously stuff like living gets such as the portfolio or the knowledge you have, what would you say is the key elements to do?
So if you're just starting out, I would talk about my product. So for example, for your business, for example, I would say, all right, I'm making a conscious decision to make the best, these candy floss machines are the best candy floss machines. So I would potentially produce content about the things that I'm selling, for example. Because obviously to an average Joe, candy floss machines, I don't know the difference between two different candy floss machines. You know you've picked those machines for a reason. You've done your market research and you've made a buying decision based on what they told you it does. Portray that to your customer. You could portray that to your customer. You could show them a video of the difference between good and bad. You know, I would make a blog post about Well, this is what could go wrong, and this is what could go right. I would absolutely talk about my product and why it's amazing, because you can create that content. Because a lot of that stuff is just your own self-belief in your business. Does that make sense? Yeah? The other thing I would say is if you do take payments on your website, you must get something called an SSL. So it's effectively a certificate that shows that your website is secure to take payments. You can buy it at the same time as you buy a domain name. Once again, talk to your website guy or girl or whoever's building your website for you. But an SSL certificate effectively tells the consumer it's safe for me to put my card details into this website. You know when you go on a website and you make a payment, it has that lock that comes up? That's because they've got an SSL certificate. For a basic web page, it's probably about £30 a year. It's not expensive. But it just gives that customer that confidence, once again, to buy from you. Because if you went on a website that was taking card payments and didn't have the certificate, what would you think and feel? You'd be like, oh, this website's dodgy, and you've got that red writing that comes up saying, not secure. Yeah? I'm like, nah, I don't think I'm going to buy from them. That's the reality. You can lose people at so many different parts of the customer journey. Like I said, those guys on Dragon's Den, they got me in. I was ready to purchase. And I didn't because they had errors on their website, which probably was just down to not having attention to detail. Which is why I say to you guys, every single page on your website, put yourselves in the eyes of your customer. Every single page. Think of all of your different products, and imagine if I came on this website and I wanted a slushy machine, what journey would I go on? What information would be relevant to me? What am I going to look at? What would I click on? And how easy is it for me to buy? If I want a dance floor and I'm on VMV's website, how easy is it for me to get from that thought of wanting this thing to actually buying? By our own admission on Amazon, they are very good at getting from that, how quickly they can bring you through the journey, very fast. And you guys need to be as good as Amazon, if you can. But it does take money, I'll be honest. It takes money. Go on. Taiwo. Hey. Good question. What's a good price? Because, of course, if you don't know, you don't know. So if a guy tells you £50, you think, okay, cool. On average, to build a decent website, I would be ready to spend circa £1,000. For a decent website, £1,000. A decent website. When I say decent, I mean, why? Why does it cost that much? You're paying for the individual's expertise and time. There will be varying levels to this. Don't get me wrong, there are people who would build a website for £500 and you may get the same quality. For example, if I was trying to save money, I would go and find someone who's just passed a degree in website building who doesn't have customers but is trying to build up their portfolio, who will probably give you the same quality of work because they've just fresh out of uni but do it for half the price. So remember, GoDaddy is all about, well, the initial offering is just you buying a domain name. Yes, they sell those types of services, but I don't put those two together because it's not personal. I don't personally feel it's personal. I'd say, yeah, around £1,000, because if you think about all of the things that are needed, in the end, it will cost about £1,000.
Like how many pages do you need?
It depends on your product. It depends what you want to do. If, for example, you're trying to be a content-based page, where, yes, you're selling stuff, but you also want to be, you want to show them lots of content, you want to put articles, and you want to have blog posts, etc. It's going to be more complex. And remember when I spoke about SEO, that takes a lot of time to build all of that. And that's why it costs £1,000. Oh, 100%. Oh, yeah. Don't get me wrong, you can absolutely build a website that does everything I've spoken about for £100. You could do it yourself, but it would take you months. You pay someone £1,000, you'll have it in 2 weeks. How often should you update your website? I would review it weekly. I guess update it as often as it's relevant to. If, for example, the industry's moving forwards, if there's something that's impacting your customer group that you think you need to address on your website, do so. So for example, a lot of big commercial websites mention Brexit. You know, I've got an account with DHL because I do international commerce, and they will not stop talking to me about Brexit. What their plans are, what they're doing, how they're planning to make sure that my business is going to be safe after Brexit, and all of the things that they're doing. I never asked for this information. But they're proactively addressing the fact that, do you know what? I am a customer that's based in the UK who this impacts. They're not going to be sending that email to their customers that are based in Australia because Brexit doesn't impact them. So that's an example of them updating their website because something's happening in that place that I say that I'm trying to get to. Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. You need to have information that's... Whoa. Trying to kill the audience. Absolutely, it's about having the website information that's potentially up to date and relevant. So if there's an opportunity to update it, do so, I would say. If there's an opportunity, even if it's one small paragraph of writing something small, all those little incremental things will increase your website effectiveness. More than the Skoda. More than the Skoda. Okay.
What do you think of apps?
Of?
Apps as a business, so that basically you can retain your client. Also, you said push notifications or whatsoever. You can kind of control the landscape. What's your expertise, or what would you say about apps?
Okay, so an app is effectively a mobile-based website. That's what it is, yeah? Before apps, you had to go to a website to do the activity. Now you have this little thing on your phone that means you can carry out the same activity just on your mobile phone. If your business allows for it, do it. If you go through your phone, there's probably so many apps that are just nonsense. You don't even know why they're on your phone. You haven't looked at it in months and months and months. However, every time you scroll through, subconsciously, that brand is being pushed into your mind. And there will come a day when, for example, I've got xe.com on my phone, which is currency conversion. I rarely use it. But whenever I think about I need to do a currency conversion, I've got that app on my phone. I don't proactively think about it, but it's subconscious. So an app is a good way of getting yourself in someone's face all of the time. How often do you guys look at your phone in a day? Yes, every single time you look at your phone, effectively, you are scrolling through and you're being sold to without even knowing it because you're knowing what apps are on your phone. Sometimes you have apps that are lost on your phone. You're like, I'm sure I got that app on my phone, but I don't know where. So I need to go search for it because there's just so many. Yeah, it would be very useful. In answer to your question, Joseph, yeah, if you can get an app built, do it. Once again, though, don't get it done cheaply. So I know that lady, sorry, Bola, sorry. Yes, my dear, right at the back.
I wanted to ask, how do you choose the best web developer?
It's like asking how do you choose your husband or wife. It's very difficult. I'll be honest. It's very difficult. It's difficult because all you can do is look at their CV. I would say if you're considering someone, look at their previous work. Yep.
So you can't really know until you try their service. So in your experience, what are the key things to look out for?
I would look at how someone communicates as being a really key indicator. So if the conversation I have with you is about you, I am unlikely personally to buy from you. I'm a sales guy. That's what I do. So I get angry. Dean knows, he's one of my best friends. He knows that as soon as I feel like someone's selling to me, I get angry, like internally angry. I know it sounds bad, but I get internally angry because I don't like to be sold to. Even if what you're selling me, I want it, but I'm no longer going to buy it because you sold it to me. But that's me. Another person may love that. So for example, when I'm buying a new car and I go to Car Giant, I say, look, people, do not talk to me. Don't touch me. I will come and get you when I'm ready. I can read the spec sheet of the vehicle. Just like I can look at a web designer's portfolio. I can see for myself. I don't need you to talk me through it. I can see it. But that's me. Potentially what I would get them to do is like a small, if you're really unsure, get them to do a small piece of work for you. Not a major website overhaul. I just want you to build me a page and see how the interaction is with the business. Give a £100 job, for example, if you're really, really unsure. Personally, what I would do is use someone that someone I know has used before. That's probably the safest option. Someone who's been through that buying process with them before. But there's websites like, for example, Fiverr. If you've ever heard of that website, it's a great site for finding freelancers for very, very good prices. And Fiverr gives, say again? And freelancer.com. Look at that. I've never even been on freelancer.com, and because Joseph just told me it was good, I told you it was good, and you're now going to think it's good because I told you, but I only got that because of Joseph's authority. This is how powerful it is. I just did that, and I don't even know if this website exists or not. I've never been on it, but that's what I'm trying to show you. This marketing thing is so powerful. I didn't even think twice about telling them. If freelancer.com is rubbish, I'm coming for you, Joseph. Yeah? But there's websites you can go on like Fiverr or like freelancer.com where you can find people who do these things, who do it for quite cheap, because usually they're based abroad. Because let's face it, people based in the UK have a lot of money to pay out in bills. So their prices are usually quite high. I personally use people from the Caribbean to build my websites because I get them at a fraction of the cost. And they give me the same quality of product. The only problem with dealing with people from the Caribbean, I'm from the Caribbean so I can say it, they're damn slow. So that's my trade-off. I'm happy to wait but pay less. I'll know I'll get the quality, I'm just not going to get it I'm not going to get it quickly, unfortunately. You can't get something for nothing. Are there any other questions? Can I show you an example of a very good website? Okay, 1 second. Yeah. Damn it, man. I was gonna. 1 second. Okay, give me a second, people. So this is the website that I built myself. So this is one of the companies that I run. When it comes up, I want you to tell me, as soon as it comes to you, what does the company do? How long did it take you to find that out? That's how impactful your website has to be. The moment that page comes up, what does that company do? They do holidays. Don't worry, I'm not a direct competitor. Don't calm down. It's okay. Yeah? We do holidays. So, for example, I chose to have a video. And guess what that video is going to talk about? It's going to talk about the experience that customer had with me. And then when I scroll down, book now. I'm going to give you some confidence, and I'm going to encourage you to book. And then you're going to scroll down some more. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to show you how easy it is to book with me. And you're like, yep, I'm going to book now. Yep. So that's going to be all dependent on who's built your website and how you've done it. If you've done it on the cheap, but you can basically streamline videos. So it will still show the video, it will be the same video, but the file will be a lot less bigger. The other thing is optimizing. Are you good? Happy? You good? Happy? Okay. So in terms of So with that media piece, having the video, it's key because I think video content is the most powerful. So if you can have video content, have it. You know, there's a testimonial you spoke about earlier. Having someone talking about it, seeing it visually, is so much more impactful than some text that, let's be honest, 9 times out of 10, they made it up. Mr. Smith from Norwich said, it was amazing. There's no way of you verifying that that actually happened. And fair enough, you can have actors. You could, if you went that far, you could have actors. But you know what? Even if you did do that, that's a lot more believable. You could get your friends to do that. Because I would believe it. I wouldn't necessarily believe, if I was the unknowing consumer, that someone would go to the lengths to get someone to act as if they bought the product. Who does that? But you know what? It's impactful. So it wouldn't even cross my mind that this wasn't genuine, would it? And if you don't want to have that automated content, then Gloria, give them the option. So go to testimonials page and then have videos rather than just having text. And what needs to sit behind every single one of those videos? Let's see if you guys are listening. What needs to sit behind the video? Alternative text, yes. Are we good? We good? Cool. So, you got a question? Yeah, sorry.
One thing to add, I don't know if you spoke about, is you must find a way to capture data as well.
Absolutely, yes. So what you'll find is on a lot of websites, when you go on, the first thing it does, this thing jumps up at you, asking you, so they're going to offer to give you something for free if you sign up to their newsletter. So I'm going to give you some value. So I'm going to say, right, I'm going to give you 15% off if you sign up to this newsletter. And you're thinking, I get 15% off just for putting my email address. Cool, no worries. What do they then do afterwards? Bombard you. How many of you have got Gap have signed up to Gap's newsletter? You got it. Oh my God. How many sales do Gap have? Ah, my friend. I'm like, but this sale's been going on for 3 years. This sale never ends. I just get permanently 30% off all the time because they bombard you with that marketing. So capturing that data is very, very key. You will use it how you wish to use it. But find a way of giving value to someone in exchange for their information. Yeah? Cool. Absolutely. Give it an email address. Yep, absolutely.